Right, so it's been a good couple of weeks since we've done one of these. So I'm just going to start off with a quick, well, first of all, an apology for my camera not working, but I'm sure that doesn't bother anyone watching. And secondly, just a look at our game week 6 team. So we're going to just quickly review that. That was our first red hour of the season. It's obviously been a pretty strong start for Team TSZ. No real bumps in the road until game week 6 when we got 44 points. I mean, we did captain Haaland, which was the right choice. It seems like it's going to be the right choice nearly every week now, but at least we did that. The one sort of frustration was Mateus Nunes on the bench with 9 points there. I think that was the first time we benched him since we brought him in.
Knew he'd come good
So
eventually.
yeah, so that was a frustrating one. So then of course we roll on to game week 7. We got 0 points, but it's still a green arrow just because of people out there that took transfer hits before the games were postponed. So we'll take it. Game week rank of 1. You can't ask for much more than that. And I think we went up about 2,000 places, so we're still just inside the top 100,000, which I reiterate is a strong place to be at this early stage of the season. So the decision now becomes we have 2 free transfers, and we coming into the blank game week. So there are only 7 Premier League fixtures this week, with 6 teams not playing. So that's caused a lot of thinking for a lot of FPL managers, whether to just use their transfers, whether to use a wild card, whether to free hit. What's the best strategy here? A lot of people were wanting to use their wild card in game week 9 over the international break, quite common time to use it. And obviously with this season and the World Cup coming early, around game week 16, there isn't actually that much longer in which to use the first wild card. So a lot of them are being activated now. It is team dependent. You know, do you need to take transfer hits to get a full 11 out there? Now the situation with Team TSZ is that we have 2 free transfers, and if we use them, we would get 11 players out there. So from that perspective, I don't think a wild card is necessarily needed. It's not to say it's the wrong decision, but or the right decision to go without it. It's just that I don't, if we say had maybe 7 players playing and we needed to take a -4 or -8, I'd probably be advocating for the wild card now. But given that we've got a decent squad already, then I wouldn't say that's required. So in terms of how much money we've got in the bank, we have 0.7 million, 2 free transfers. So I think an obvious one is probably Salah out for me, for De Bruyne or Son. That's one option, and then potentially upgrading Stansfield to Mitrovic. That's a potential move, although I'm not sure that the funds would allow that. So I'll have to check that in a moment. And the other players not playing, we've got Reece James there. We've got Luis Diaz, and we've got Stansfield. Right, I know Alex, I was supposed to sell last week in the blank game, and never got around to it. But it doesn't really. I mean, it could be any 4.5 there, and then they're probably not getting minutes.
And so, Trent as well.
Oh yeah, of course, and Trent. In terms of the fixture outlook, it's not great for Liverpool, except we've got I think it's Brighton next in game week 9. It's Brighton, but following that, it's a tough fixture schedule. So Brighton at home, Arsenal away, Man City at home. So hence a lot of FPL managers are selling their Liverpool assets. And there is another caveat here: is that the Arsenal versus Man City match in game week 12 has been postponed due to Arsenal's Europa League match having to go into that game week. So, loading up on Arsenal and City players does come with a, kind of a problem not too far away. So that's probably, if we are going to wild card in game week 9, that's probably something we need to consider then, and not so much now. Right now, we're just thinking about game week 8 if we are to use these 2 free. So if I just do that, I'm actually not sure it works for Salah to De Bruyne. Where is he? Type him in. And then how much do we have? We've only got 5.9 million. for Stansfield for another striker, which isn't great. I did see that Diego Costa is 5.5 million for Wolves, which is quite a generous price there.
I would say I would probably say at this point, because I've done it myself, the best 5.5 option probably in terms of striker is Adam Armstrong, because he's been playing for Southampton. He scored, I think, in the game against Chelsea. And he's not nailed by any stretch of the imagination, but he started the last few. And at 5.5, his fixtures they're okay. I think they're away to Aston Villa next. That would probably be the best striker option that I can think of off the back of my head if we're looking for someone around that price range.
Yeah, Solanke I've seen quite popular as well, even though he plays at Bournemouth. He's 5.7 and seems to be playing, but I don't really want any of those. It might be that potentially we go to a cheaper player than De Bruyne, and have more money to bring in either an Ivan Toney or a Mitrovic.
It's annoying because you could make an argument for Sterling, but he's also not playing.
Yeah, so that is the trouble. Sterling, he scored again last night in the Champions League. I think Chelsea aren't well. It remains to be seen how they're going to perform under Potter, but Sterling's is always a decent FPL option, and I think he will come into the reckoning at some point this season. In terms of the template, but yeah, obviously not for this game. We're just sort of thinking about this game week only. Then it's potentially Son against Leicester. I mean, you can't be too impressed with Son's performances so far, Alex, but we know his potential. We know what he can do.
I was gonna say maybe in swap in the midfielder and the forward price wise and go. I know we'd price this out of a midfield coming back to Salah, but Kane's quite good against Leicester, and he's a better option I think than Son for this week.
Yeah, and so you would suggest that we would, let's say, put Salah back a minute. Salah back a minute. Then how much have we got? How much do we need then? 6.7. We could find a 6.7 midfielder.
Yeah.
Surely. So have a look and see what 6.7 mids are out there. There's got to be a few. I know Zaha isn't playing anyway, but there's got to be some decent 6.7s out there. It's a shame Rodrigo's injured, but he's not playing anyway this week.
We need to keep covering it with that. We've got Odegaard, 6.5.
Saint Maximin 6.4, but he's an injury down. That is a shame. That's a real shame.
That's a nice fixture at home to Bournemouth as well.
Yeah.
Because if we were going to stick to cheaper forwards, we could possibly take a punt on Isak.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout for Isak. Isak's not a bad shout. He looks dangerous. He should have scored in his last game for Newcastle. Yeah. I know he didn't, but he should have scored.
We don't have free Arsenal, do we? No, so we could. Okay, so the best one I'm seeing at the moment is Odegaard for that. Jack Harrison, not filling me with. It doesn't matter about how do we get Salah back if we're wildcarding next week anyway.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I think this is probably a better idea than my original plan, just due to the fact we don't have the funds for a good third striker.
Yeah.
Can you just show the fixtures, please, Tristan?
Yeah.
Show the fixtures down. That's it. Just want to have a look so I can think of players off the top of my head. I'm assuming Madison's far too expensive. A bit of a punty suggestion. Possibly someone like Leon Bailey.
Yeah.
Man City started the last two for Villa, 4.7.
He's very punty. Isn't he? Yeah. I still think Gerrard doesn't know his best teams. So is it? He hasn't started every game.
I think I've got a player. Ward-Prowse, 6.5.
Yeah, I did just see him.
I can't think of much better than that. 6.5 guaranteed starter on penalties, on free kicks. I think we'll struggle to find better than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I was looking at Gordon then. He's obviously on a bit of a streak.
I don't like Everton assets. This has been me, hasn't it, for a long time. I'm not the biggest fan of Everton assets other than Richarlison when he was there.
Didn't you bring Michael Keane into our side late last season?
Oh, thanks for the reminders. You see, we've been down this road before. It didn't end well. And Adam warned me as well.
Yeah, well, I think everyone sort of stared at you for a bit, but we listened to you still. So
yeah. No, look, seriously, Ward-Prowse is one of those perennial players. He's a midfielder, but he gets ignored because there are a plethora of more exciting midfielders, you know, and not many people trust Southampton. But he is as reliable as you're going to get, I think. And he's not been named in. Has he been named? I'm not sure if he's been named in the England squad, but he'll be deterred. He'll have a point to prove, that's for sure. I think we could do a lot. Not sure we could find better than that.
Is he definitely on pens?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean that is probably the best we can do, isn't it? And,
Yeah, I think so.
And captain, you could say Captain Kane over Haaland, but I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
it's too risky, isn't it? We've got to protect our position, really, haven't we?
Yeah, and you've already taken some punts anyway.
I like that 11, to be fair. If he'll get out on the pitch, that's not a bad 11. Could be midfield's a bit weak, but I don't faithful in Ward-Prowse.
It could be a lot worse, actually.
Yeah. I do like the Kane Haaland double up. I would fancy Kane against Leicester. I'm with you. Leicester look horrendous defensively, don't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely horrendous. And I just saw this too much of a rotation risk. We know Kane's going to play.
I'm just having a look at one more potential, which would be rather than do a striker, just get 2 midfielders. So De Bruyne and a 9.5 mid.
Can we? So would that be someone like a Bowen or a Maddison or a someone along those lines?
Yeah,
or a Man City, someone like Foden maybe.
Bowen did look like he was.
We've got De Bruyne, aren't we? We've already got De Bruyne, so Foden's out of it.
We can't get. Yeah, we've already got 3 City with De Bruyne.
I still don't like Foden as a fantasy asset yet. Anyway,
I don't think many Man City midfielders other than De Bruyne attract me in terms of finding. I would say if you're looking for a midfielder, you're probably looking at Bowen. Bowen coming good. You know, he's due a bit of a streak. He's a streaky player, is Bowen. When he gets on a roll, he gets on a roll, but he's not really.
In the last game.
And it seems like he might be on pens. He took one in the Europa.
So we're looking at here. We're looking at what's better: De Bruyne and Bowen, or Kane and Ward-Prowse. That's pretty much what we're going on here. That is the choice.
So it's just a fixtures thing this week, isn't it? Because we're wildcard next week anyway. So it's who do we fancy? Who do we fancy to do better, Kane or De Bruyne?
It's a tough one, but I do like. I would go for Kane based on the fixture, and I know format. Well, Kane is in form. In form.
He's doing well.
Form over the fixture, haven't you? Whereas Kane's doing outstandingly well, and Leicester are terrible. I'll reiterate that Leicester are terrible. Wolves aren't great, but they're hard to score against.
Okay, I think. Why is it saying this now? What have I done?
De Bruyne is the
yes, of course, yeah.
But I'm happy to be outvoted here, though. By all means, chip in, Tristan, if you think you would rather have De Bruyne and Bowen.
I was close to those two, but no, I do like this because it's a bit. I think it's a bit more differential-ish. I think
definitely. I think a lot of people can have De Bruyne in this week, either on a free hit or a wild card. Yeah, but I'm not sure they're going to have Kane.
It's a natural thing to do. Most people would see Salah's not playing, so just get De Bruyne in. But if we've got 2 free transfers, we can do this. And Leicester, Leicester just conceded 5 goals to Brighton.
Yeah, I watching Leicester does kind of like it tips the scale for me. I'm happy for them to no doubt put 11 behind the ball, Danny Ward puts in the performance of his life after embarrassing himself at Brighton. But I just think it's the sense. So I think that's a good team that will captain Haaland to ensure ourselves.
Yeah,
and I think we got a good chance at Green Arrow there. And no hits taken. Still got a wild card in the can. Free hit for later in the season. I think we're in good shape here.
I'm confirming this.
Okay.
And
three starting strikers feels good.
It does feel good.
Yeah. Let's see. Kane in then.
Trent out.
Henderson obviously
That's the team. That's the team. It would be lovely. It would be lovely to get a Forest clean sheet, wouldn't it? They feel like it would be good to get a Forest clean sheet. I'm hoping that, they've had some time on the training pitch, their defence. Steve Cooper, I do rate, I've said this before on these videos, that I do rate Steve Cooper as a manager. He's done brilliantly with them. I just feel like once he's some time on the training ground to integrate these new players, another week another week working with the defenders. I think I'm hoping they'll be hard to score against. They've got to keep the shackles on Mitrovic. If they can keep the shackles on Mitrovic, I'm quietly confident that they can keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, it's definitely a power three forward, isn't it? Obviously very light in midfield. If you look at that in terms of it's good job that this is just a one game week only plan.
But very top heavy, very exciting front line.
Yeah. So onwards and upwards. Yeah, 97k at the moment. We have since the last call. I think we've gone over 10 million total players. So definitely. No, I know we did last time. I mentioned this before. I'm repeating myself already. But and then we've got a good 2 weeks then over international break to. I'll probably activate it straight away tomorrow night after the deadline, unless you have any reservations or strong ideas about activating it.
We've got to do it, really, haven't we? Well, we've not got enough game weeks to take advantage of it otherwise. So I would activate it. I would activate it straight away, personally.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I know we've never been too bothered about value and stuff, but it can only benefit us to do that. I can get rid of like Trent, for example, who's about to drop. Even if we get him back in, we can buy him back for 0.1 cheaper in the same window potentially.
Do we know if Trent's going to drop before the deadline?
Yeah, that's the thing. He's very close to a drop tonight, so we're recording this on Thursday. Yeah, touch and go. Let's see. There's been a lot of predicted rises and drops recently that haven't happened because obviously a lot of wild cards have been activated.
About Salah, do we know how close Salah is to a drop? Don't worry if you don't. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I think he is. I can quickly check it. But
no, you don't have to. It's okay. It's not important. But I'm just asking the question for the sake of it. If Trent, I think let's activate the wild card. Let's do that after the deadline, and then we'll work from that. On our next video will be lots of fun. It'll be about us assembling our wild card team.
Yeah, no, exactly. So and from a position of strength, hopefully as well. So we can kick on then after the international break. But this is an interesting time. The template is going to be broken up now with this. So, from game week 1 onwards, it's been lots of samey teams around.
We're going to have a tough decision to make. I can already tell on the wild card over Salah, and whether to play it, whether to have him or not. I think that's going to be a big decision. Because for the first time in a long, long time, Mo Salah is not going to be considered a must-own player. And if you have him, all of a sudden it becomes quite exciting, knowing that quite a lot of people won't have him. But at the same time, if we do have him, that's a lot of money tied up. So that's going to be, I think, our big decision to stew over in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because he did score in Champions League last night, but again, you still wouldn't say he's anywhere close to his best.
And he's one of those that you look at as fixture proof. Scored twice, was it against Man City at Anfield last time they played at Anfield? Scored at the Emirates. I think he really enjoys playing against Arsenal. So he's one of those, isn't it? It's how will he cope without Mane? He scored. Jota was in the team, obviously. Was hopeful that Jota being back would help Salah, and Jota, of course, set him up against Ajax. So
even despite everyone criticising the season, he's still the joint 4th highest midfielder point scorer. And that's and he's only 4 points behind the top scorer, which is gross.
Who won't be Pascal Gross at the end of the season? So
no, so we can make that claim quite confidently, I think. That's not going to remain the case. You
look at that top 4. None of them are going to be there at the end of the season. So he's still top of the ones you'd expect to be there.
It pains me seeing Rashford there after me taking him out on wild card. It pains me seeing him there. And I had a good wild card. So that was a good wild card from me. The majority of stuff I got right, I got him wrong, which is frustrating.
Yeah. Okay.
We had him, of course. I think we had him as well. And I advocated taking him out.
First 2 or 3 weeks we had him. And then the week we took him out, he scored. That's how it works. That's FPL.
That happens to the best of us.
Happens to all of us.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think we're locked in. I'll post this on the site, and the readers can see Even though we got 0 points last week, I still did a how did we get on in game week 7 bit. Just for the continuity.
Yeah, many thanks to all of those who took hits for no reason. Many thanks.
Yeah, very eternally grateful for that. There was a little trick actually. I don't think a lot of people didn't realize, but because Fantasy Premier League said that if you activated your free hit before the postponements, then they'd give the free hit back for game week, the following game week. If you had taken transfer hits, you could just activate the free hit to cancel them out and then get the free hit back. But I mean, that's very sort of niche, hardcore fan base knowledge that wouldn't exactly filter down to everyone in your work league. So it's I'm also very grateful that no one follows FPL Twitter as much as we do.
This is why I used my wild card in week 2 by accident, because I was messing around with what I might do, and then I accidentally confirmed 6 transfers. So then I had to activate.
You're not supposed to tell everyone. We're supposed to be experts at this, Adam. Come on.
Well, I mean, I'm now claiming this is my main team, and the other team is just a joke team. I'm just joking. It's just a big joke. Or
you're just saying to show that we're all human. You know, even the Team TSZ pundit panel can err on occasion. But yeah, all right. I think we can leave it at that.
Yeah, quite like it. I think I'd captain Kane, but let's sign off.
Yeah, Haaland's getting the armband. You voted out 2-1. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.